All right, welcome back to the Reclaiming the Temple podcast, where we connect faith and health and spiritual discipline in a way that transforms more than just your body. It rewires your entire life. I'm your host, Michael Wilson, personal trainer, nutrition coach, pastor, and author of Reclaiming the Temple. And today we're going to take a little bit of a deeper look into some things that are a little bit different, but I think are super important because it's not just about you, it's about your legacy. It's about the chains that have followed you for your family for generations, and how discipline might just be the key to finally be able to break them. So let me simply start by just stating something that we probably know as a truth. You inherit eye color and skin tone and height and all kinds of things of that nature from your family line, but we also inherit habits and mindsets and traumas and coping mechanisms. And some of us, if we're honest, we grew up in homes where things like food were considered a comfort and laziness was actually normal and health was never really discussed. Most of the time, if we're even more honest, we lived in kind of a survival mode all the time, busy and hectic and crazy, and we never really thought about any of those things. Well, let me first just say that's not your fault, but it is your fight. So in Exodus 20 verse 5, it says that the sins of the fathers can visit the children to the third and fourth generations. Now, that doesn't mean that you're doomed. It means there's a spiritual pattern that only you can take the initiative to break. And it takes intentional obedience. So if apathy, addiction, or physical neglect are in your family, you can be the one who says, it stops with me. So let's talk specifics. If sugar was your family's drug of choice, if movement was optional and fast food was normal, and if rest was more like avoidance than restoration, then your battle isn't just about willpower. It's actually a form of spiritual warfare. Now, if you've seen any of my content on TikTok and other platforms, I talk about this a lot. And some people get extremely uncomfortable with the idea because these things, sugar, laziness, being apathetic about certain things, is just completely acceptable, not just in the culture, but in the church as well, where we're supposed to be the ones that lead in some of these things. But when you think about sugar dependency, it's not just a physical thing. It's emotional. It's what you reach for when you're stressed, when you're sad, when you're tired. It masks what only the Holy Spirit is meant to comfort. When we do that, we're dulling our spiritual senses. Laziness might not show up as sleeping all day. Sometimes it looks like distraction or procrastination or staying busy with everything except what God is calling you to do. That's a form of laziness. And then when you think of apathy, it becomes even more dangerous because apathy just says, why do I even concern myself with it? Nothing's going to change anyway. And that lie will absolutely keep you stuck in the same cycles that your parents and grandparents never broke. But discipline is the shovel that you can use to dig a new path. Hebrews chapter 12 verse 11 says, no discipline seems pleasant at the time, but painful. Later on, however, it produces a harvest of righteousness and peace for those who have been trained by it. Why wouldn't you want that? That kind of discipline that hurts in the moment creates and produces something great in the long run. So when I say something like that, it immediately kind of comes across as harsh. People think it's not very loving, but I kind of want to reframe something along those thought lines for you today. Discipline is not a punishment. Discipline is actually love. It's how you show love for God, and it's actually how God shows love for you. John 14:15 says, if you love me, keep my commandments. So it's how you love your future. You may not see results in a week or a month, but your future self will thank you for every hard decision that you make today. And it's how you love your children and their children. Every time you train your body instead of numbing it. Every time you choose real food instead of emotional eating. Every time you wake up early to spend time with God before the world gets loud. You're building something that your kids will inherit. Not just genetically, but spiritually. Your health choices are absolutely shaping your family tree. So one thing that I want to make very clear in all this is that when I say things about reclaiming the temple and the book that I wrote and the platform that has been created and the opportunities that I get to coach, this is not a program. It's not a health program. This is something that I look at more like a rebuilding project. So when you see the words reclaiming the temple, it means that I'm taking back stewardship of what's been given to me, the temple that God gave me, for greater purpose. And it's not just about our bodies any longer. It becomes about our bloodlines. When I started this journey, I didn't just want to feel better. I wanted to leave something behind that would echo into the next generation. I believed wholeheartedly that I was going to break some things that I know that my family has had for years and years and years. And I wanted my kids to see a father who trained in private, who fasted when no one was watching, who prioritized presence over pressure, who taught them that their body isn't a trophy, it's a temple. And now that's what I get to help other people build. I do it through coaching and through the book, and I do it through this podcast, and by God's grace, through you. Because if you're listening to this, if something is stirring in you right now, then maybe you're the one who's been called to be the breaker of the generational curses in your own family. You're the cycle breaker. You're the stronghold smasher. You're the one who steps into discipline not for the sake of control, but for the sake of freedom. And not for yourself, but for the future generations after you. So let me just close with this today. I know that discipline is hard. And I've heard it said, I've seen motivational video after motivational video, that discipline's not hard. Everything is hard. You just need to choose which hard you want to take. And to be honest, I agree with that to a certain extent, but I want to go a little bit further because discipline is absolutely hard, but bondage is way harder. It's killing you physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. And if you're a believer and you're listening to this, you can't afford that. And look, you're not created to repeat the past. You were created to redeem it. So, I challenge you today, take a look. Go look in the mirror. Look at yourself. Look really hard. Look at your habits. Look at what you're eating on a regular basis. Look at what you're doing with your training regimen. Are you doing anything? Hey, how about just go for a walk a couple times a week? Look at your rest patterns. Is it more like laziness, just crashing out after work? Look at the rhythms that you have of life, because we all have them. And then I want you to ask yourself some pointed questions. Is what I'm currently doing actually building a legacy that I want to leave? Is this habit healing what has been broken before me? Am I sowing righteousness that my kids will reap? If not, let me just say, it's okay. But it's not okay to stay there. You can get started today. Galatians 6:9 says, "Do not grow weary in doing good, for at the proper time you will reap a harvest. If you do not give up." And the starting point can be now for you. The harvest is coming. You want to be able to break those curses on your family. You want to break those cycles. You have the ability, the authority, and the power to do it. So, stay the course, reclaim the temple, and rewrite the legacy. Hey, thanks so much for joining me again today. I'd love for you to do 3 things for me if this stirred something in you. Number 1, I want you to go subscribe to the podcast so you don't miss anything coming up on the channel here on YouTube. Share this episode with someone that you love, especially if they're trying to break free from old patterns. And comment below, or hey, even leave a review. What cycle are you ready to break? How can we support you in prayer? And as always, if you haven't yet, you can grab a copy of Reclaiming the Temple. It's available now on Amazon. This journey is bigger than just fitness. It's about ultimate freedom. Until next time, honor the gift, steward the temple, and reclaim your life. God bless.